From the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Welcome back to KPIX 5 News this morning. Time now is 6:30. I'm Melissa Kane.
Good morning. I'm Devin Fehely. This morning, investigators are looking into what caused a fiery crash of a small plane in Henderson, Nevada. 2 of the 4 people on board that flight were killed last night. The FAA says the single-engine aircraft had just left Henderson Executive Airport for a small airport in El Cajon near San Diego. This morning, officials are still searching for one of the last victims of the dive boat fire that claimed 34 lives over Labor Day weekend, many of those people from the Bay Area. The Coast Guard is planning to raise the sunken boat from the waters near Santa Barbara, but that effort was put off by high winds and other safety issues. 33 bodies have now been recovered, and officials believe that the remaining body could be found when the Conception is hauled away. Coroners now believe that the victims all died of smoke inhalation, perhaps in their sleep.
The Canadian province of Nova Scotia is the latest region to be affected by a storm produced by Hurricane Durian. Here's a look at a construction crane toppled by the storm in Halifax. Now, Durian is now a post-tropical cyclone and is still quite powerful. It's now headed toward Newfoundland Island. In the U.S., Durian left behind widespread damage on North Carolina's barrier islands. Hundreds of people who defied mandatory evacuation orders were stranded. In the harder-hit Bahamas, at least 43 deaths are now linked to the hurricane, and nearly 300 people there have been rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard.
We don't have no power, no water. It's hard to live. We sleep outside.
Glimpses of relief are in sight, like a British military ship that brought aid to the Bahamas. Also, a cruise ship brought more than 1,000 people from the Bahamas to Florida. An Oakland man is in custody this morning after a woman told police that she was kidnapped and raped at gunpoint. The suspect, identified as 41-year-old Tynell Cole, was found by police SWAT team members in Vallejo at around 8:30 last night. Investigators say he was in a tool shed at a house on Holly Street, not far from the Willow Street home where police were first called. The SWAT activity forced evacuations and a shelter-in-place order on the surrounding block. The commotion came as a surprise to neighbors.
We didn't even know it was out here until we came outside. We were getting ready to leave, and then they wouldn't let us out. Then they finally moved and let us out, then wouldn't let us back in.
The initial call to police was made at around 2:15 yesterday afternoon. Police are investigating the kidnapping and rape allegations.
Here's a live look at San Francisco Airport, where a construction project is causing more canceled flights and longer delays than usual. The project has forced the closure of one of the airport's runways. Yesterday, on the project's first day, there were more than 200 delayed flights and dozens of flights that were canceled entirely.
How I'm dealing with these, just taking rest because so waiting for my flight so I can go home and sleep and wake up in the morning.
So if we didn't get this flight, that would change those plans. I don't think our bosses would be too happy.
San Francisco airport officials say over the next 3 weeks, the closure is expected to affect about 26 flights a day, with an extra delays averaging 30 to 45 minutes. So if you have to fly in and out of that airport, it is best to check with your airline for the latest status of your flight.
Richmond's police chief may be gone for good, just 3 days after the police officers union took an overwhelming vote of no confidence in him. A city official confirms that Alwyn Brown is, quote, out of the office for the foreseeable future. Many union members want the city to fire Brown or ask him to quit.
This is kind of our atomic button to basically tell the world, hey, this is how bad things are, and it's not done very often. And definitely not to this level of magnitude.
In the meantime, Assistant Chief Bisa French is in charge. And when we asked for a reaction, she described her appointment as acting chief as, quote, indefinite. A consulting group found last year that the department had low morale and a toxic work environment. And union leaders say that hasn't changed.
Now to the fire watch. Right now, there are several fires burning in California this morning, and parts of the state are under mandatory evacuation orders. Right now in Lake County, the Oak Fire is burning on both sides of Highway 29, just south of Kelseyville. In this cell phone video, you can see Cal Fire crews doing water drops. That fire is just 53 acres. Evacuation orders were lifted to a warning last night, and all roads have been reopened. At last check, the fire is 50% contained. Full containment is expected sometime today. Now to Plumas County, where the 24,000-acre Walker fire is still burning out of control. More than 500 firefighters along with air tankers are fighting that fire. Mandatory evacuation orders are in place. The wildfire is burning about 120 miles northeast of Sacramento. As of this morning, it is just 5% contained. And there are also mandatory evacuation orders in Tehama County this morning, where the Red Bank fire west of Red Bluff is now 15% contained. Investigators say that lightning sparked the flames, which now cover nearly 9,000 acres. The fire is burning in remote, very steep and rocky terrain. Firefighters have been challenged by narrow roads and poor access to the fire area.
Some seniors say they have stopped visiting a once vibrant Oakland park because the homeless have taken over. At Madison Square Park, seniors say they used to exercise, do Tai Chi or dance, even sword dancing. But through a translator, a former park user told us the homeless set up tents about 2 years ago.
People were fearful to come. They saw the tents and the trash and everybody got scared. It turned this place into a desolate park.
We want to help them, but at the same time, we are hoping that we can continue allowing our seniors and the children to come back.
The city says it will set up a cabin community for the homeless just 2 blocks away in October.
Gotta love it when September does its thing and we end up with typical numbers for this time of year. We've got a 7-day forecast that's got a lot of 80s for inland locations going across the top of it. Notice how we are going to warm up into the 90s by Thursday and Friday. So enjoy these next 4 days. They're going to be really nice. If you're not in the mid-80s inland, you'll be sitting in the low to mid-70s for much of the rest of the bay. Looks really good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
CPS Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley is next here on KPIX 5.
Have a great day.